So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Bonjour, mesdames, messieurs. As I've been introduced, I'm Joji Koike, Managing Director of the Energy Conservation Center of Japan, abbreviation ECCJ. So it's my pleasure to be here to moderate session 2 and 3 of EMAK12. And it is also my pleasure to visit Paris, where I lived for 2 years a long time ago. So to start with, I would like to introduce the distinguished panelists of session 2 by order of the presentation. So I would like to introduce, people, the panelists who are being called, could you please get on the podium? I think there's supposed to be four chairs. Yeah, 4 chairs, all right? Yeah. So the first speaker is Mr. Akihito Watanabe, Director for International and Technical Research Department of the Heat Pump and Thermal Storage Technology Center of Japan. Mr. Watanabe joined the Maekawa Manufacturing Co. Ltd., a heat pump manufacturer, and actually he is now working in the heat pump and thermal storage technology center. Watanabe-san, could you come into it? Yes, please. And the second speaker is Mr. Robert West, General Manager of Recycle Business in Rico Industrie France in Colmar. Mr. Robert West, please. And now the third speaker is Mr. Tomoya Onuki, member of Facility Manager Manufacturing Department of the Kakegawa Factory of Shiseido Limited. So, Mr. Onuki, please, on the podium. And we have, let me see. The last speaker of session 2 is Ms. Céline Carré, Head of Public Affairs of Saint-Gobain, based in Brussels. So, Ms. Carré, please, on the podium, please. Before going into the actual presentation and discussion, I would like to explain a bit about how to proceed with session 2 as well as session 3, which is interlinked. At the beginning of this session, I would like to present a guiding presentation first, in order to show the participants how what is the aim, what is the meaning of session 2 and 3. And followed by this speaker, I would like to invite the speakers to make presentations. And after all the presentation of session 2 are finished, I would like to start the discussion by throwing some of the questions. And this is followed by session 3 later, and the procedure is the same for what I have explained. So, I would like to give a very short guidance for session 2 and 3. Maybe 10 minutes or maybe 15 minutes. I would like to be short, and after 15 minutes has passed, I think my staff will come here to drag me down, so I will make it short. Okay, so, okay. Okay. Okay, so this slide shows the relationship of Session 1 and Session 2-3. In the morning, we had quite an intense, valuable, extensive, and discussions regarding the demand-side policy framework, and there were lots of information about what is the status and what's going on in the policy framework to promote a demand-side policy framework, like setting targets, providing incentives, providing direction and guidance, etc. And we've heard about some programs with regard to demand response, some action plans for heat pumps, etc. Now, Session 2-3 is the player is the private sector and other end users. So the relationship is, of course, we have this policy framework, which is translated into actual action. So we are going to talk about the actual action. And there is a certain commonality between Session 2 and 3. I'd like to explain that. Session 2, which we're going to deal with, is going to tackle about the best practice cases. What is the motive of tackling towards reduction of CO2 and improving energy efficiency, and how, with whom, and those kinds of issues. And Session 3, at a later stage, focuses on technology. What are the benefits? How this state-of-the-art technology is fitted into actual end-user application. So there is certain commonality, but Session 3 is focusing rather on technology and how it's fitted into demand side. And rather, Session 2, which we're going to begin, is a rather broad set of actions taken by the private companies and other organizations. Now, what I want to talk about is that, of course, we have this policy framework. And, of course, this policy framework is a guidance for the companies or organization to really act. But there should be certain key elements, important elements for end users to take action. And I just cited here certain elements, possible elements, like, well, this is not a definite one, but just an idea, but commitment by the president of the organization might be very important. And appropriate organization to coordinate CO2 reduction and energy efficiency improvement might be a key element. Another issue which is possible is collaboration between technology supplier and end user coordination. And of course, digitalization, which visualizes energy use. I think this might be a very important component. And when there is a policy framework and the companies will act accordingly, one possible element which should be cited is the bridging function, which bridges the policy and implementation. So the organization which I am belonging is ECC Energy Conservation Center Japan, ECCJ. And what we are doing is the bridging function. So I just wanted to take a quick look about what we're doing. So this is a kind of a guidance presentation and a bit of introduction of what we are actually doing. And the ECCJ, established in 1978, actually tackles energy conservation amid the oil crisis, against the backdrop of energy crisis, etc. Now, talking about bridging, which might be one of the key elements, I just wanted to show the examples. The first one, for example, how can we abide by the law on energy conservation. How we can meet various requirements. Now, in session 1, there is a discussion about the incentives, targets, compulsory standards, etc. However, there is a case in which this regulation should be articulated and provided to information, especially to SMEs and other organizations who does not necessarily does not have information about the laws and regulations. The second one is, then how can we assign the qualified energy managers, administrators, as required by the law? And we actually carry out qualification exams to pick the energy managers according to the law, or providing training courses. And third one is an example. How can we economize energy use or reduce CO2? Many companies, especially SMEs, they do not know where to tackle. So in that case, the experts will visit the company to perform energy audits and provide proposals, to mid to long-term proposals, and to investigate what can they do actually. There are plenty of room to take actions, or to provide consultations in order to help them to plan the actual reduction process. So these are the examples. Now, I just talked about the concrete examples of the energy management, the audit which ECCJ, our organization, is performing. First, the experts will visit the companies and identify issues. And according to that issue, the action is proposed, which the typical one is providing proposals on short-term actions, which does not involve any operations. There are plenty of rooms to do so. And the long-term actions, which involves investment. Let's say for short-term actions, reduction of air ratio, or reduction of pressure levels, of air leakage of facility, or suspension. There are some facilities running day to midnight, so suspension of operation of unnecessary equipment might be a short-term solution. Talking about long-term actions, of course, we need more of an investment, which is B, introducing heat exchangers, usage of LED lamps, etc., etc. So this is the actual case of manufacturing. And the same goes to the retail, for example, supermarkets. So the energy experts retained by our center actually visits and identify issues and to propose short-term and mid to long-term actions accordingly. And one other issue of bridging is to provide an appropriate information on what kind of technology is available, what kind of business models is available in order for the companies to refer to. So we have this Energy Conservation Grand Prize. This is the Energy Conservation Award, which takes place once a year. The aim is to provide motivation towards energy efficiency improvement and CO2 reduction. And of course, to enhance the application of promising technology and business model by end users. And there are certain trends regarding the awardees. I just wanted to highlight some of them. Oh, sorry. This could be, oh yes. The recent trends of these awardees is the growing utilization of electricity and heat pumps, which I think some of the presenters will tackle. And increased interest in zero energy building, ZEB, and pursuit of efficient energy use through digital use, and visualization of production and energy consumption. These are the latest awardees trends. And this, I just introduced this because this eventually shows a kind of a general trends towards energy efficiency, tackling energy efficiency and CO2 reductions. And one more issue is I just introduced collaboration among suppliers and end users might be a key. And regarding this awardee, there are many appliances which collaborates, the supplier collaboration, the end user collaborations. So that's the reason I highlighted. And by the way, some of the presenters are actually are awardees of this Energy Conservation Grand Prize. Now, this is the ECCJ's, our organization's tackling of how to inform consumers about the necessity of energy conservation, the importance of energy conservation. We publish this poster design every year, and to highlight some of the important issues. So this is this year's poster that we just made in order to disseminate to energy end users. So for ECCJ, I just run quickly about what we are doing. We have also issues that continuous updating of knowledge on technological development is also necessary for us to study further, because without this, we cannot make an optimal proposals to end users. And of course, the second point is the growing importance of digitalization against the backdrop of, there are two main points. There is rising demand for visualization of energy use and CO2 reduction. Rising demand, why? Because of the high energy price, because of this political issues that would motivate companies to track more precisely their energy consumption. And of course, this could be discussed later, either in session 2 or 3. The increased use of renewables cast some issues about how to optimize electricity demand and supply. The role of the end users are growing, especially through growing use of solar energy and other renewables. So this is a quick look at what we're doing, and of course I go back to this session. So session 1 and session 2-3 actually highlights this, and there is a direction. Of course, we have this policy framework which is translated into action. Now there is kind of key elements which might be important to take actual actions. And there is another way around. By taking actions, there might be comments and proposals from the private sectors, industrial sectors, to the policy makers to cope with certain issues. So there's two directions. So this is the very simple scheme of how session 2 and 3 is going to be positioned. And of course, it's not my intention to pose any conclusions, but rather to help digest what session 2 and 3, what kind of elements can be extracted, etc. So I will stop here. I think I just spoke too much. So I would like to invite the first presenter to make a presentation. So